Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another Salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Mr. Kadish. Get it right. And joining me, as always, is my fantastic panel of nerds. And we are coming to you guys live from beautiful, cold, crime-riddled Las Vegas in the Salty Nerd Studio.
Wow.
And
cold. I don't want to hear nothing.
My brother from another mother, Matt Vader 74. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Got friends in the studio. I'm super excited.
Yeah, in case you guys can't tell, we actually have Mexican colors in the studio today.
Nice.
With Paulie, the Latino Slant. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, everybody. What's happening? It's an honor to be here. Thank you guys so much for bringing us in.
Yeah, and we also have the most famous non-YouTuber to ever exist, Mexican Ironman. How you doing, buddy?
I am completely fanboying out right now, and I am so excited. I've been watching this podcast since it started and been a loyal follower, and that I'm in the studio with you two fine gentlemen and my buddy Paulie from LA. I'm like completely nerded out right now. I don't even know if I could talk in this 2 hours live stream.
Look at this sassy dude.
So because Mike and Paulie came in to Vegas for a concert, they reached out to us, and we were happy to meet up with them live in person. So, like, we've known each other for years, but like we haven't actually met in person. Like, I invited you to my wedding and stuff like that, and all this stuff, and you were just like, "Nope, can't be bothered."
Got a couple nice.
Oh my god!
We tried, dang it!
My god!
He's like, "I got better stuff to do."
Yeah.
No. I had a family reunion.
It's like, I don't do weddings.
That's every weekend. He's Mexican. Have a family reunion. That's what
Could have been at a barbecue.
I did notice. I do want to compliment you on your cultural sensitivity. I do notice that there are Mexican flag colors here. So
yes,
A plus.
I wanted you guys to feel at home.
Que viva.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say it's really awesome. It's just a different ballgame when you finally meet people that you've been hanging out online with. It's just a great energy.
We've been on each other's live stream so many times, and it's like it's nice to finally meet face to face.
It's always better to cross the table together.
Yeah.
When I met Vader last night when we had dinner, I think I hugged him so tight and walked.
No, you met me.
That was you.
You keep
That was
mixing.
Kadish.
I mean, sorry, but I meant Kadish. See, I'm all nervous. I'm all mixed up here. Okay, Kadish, when we met up last night, and I think I hugged you and went up to you so fast, it was borderline inappropriate.
Yeah.
Dude, you were kissing me by the end of the night.
I know.
I saw that.
I was so excited.
I didn't.
The thing is,
I was not going to bring that up.
Michael's very affectionate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was like
I don't even kiss the guy, and I see him every day. Yuck.
It wasn't on the lips. It was like a man bro kiss.
It was like a Russian kiss. Yeah.
He kissed me on the lips when I saw him. So
anyway, let's get to the rest of our fantastic panelists. We have our queer shield against everything diverse and intersectional. Brian from the Popcast, how you doing, buddy?
not bad, man. You know what? I never got rainbow flag colors when I went in your studio, so I'm a little offended right now. I expect there to be a trans flag color, whatever those are, next time I go in there. So.
We will have one ready for you. We'll have it draped in your background.
I appreciate it.
Brian, you'll be happy to know that the Rio here in town has their brand new lights all up.
Oh no!
They've redone everything for the Super Bowl. All the casinos have new lights on the outside. And the Rio spent some money, and they've gone full rainbow from the top to the bottom, and it is ridiculous.
Of course they have.
I enjoyed my stay there. It wasn't half bad, but I also got.
Of course they have. Although the Rio is very affordable, so
it is quite affordable because it's crappy. Yeah. That's where they have the big Star Trek convention every year.
But I'm sure they'll have a room waiting for you.
Since they do anymore.
Take the bullet, and you are our shield, and we are happy to have you take that for us.
He's here. He's queer. He's Brian from the Podcast.
That's right.
And last but not least, certainly not least, Tom Connors Jr. from Midnight's Edge. How you doing, Tom?
I don't know. Can anybody even hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tommy.
All I know is that the sun is just.
Are you gonna melt? You gonna burst into flames?
Oh, I'm so white that you see. I just blow out. You can't see me, so
your forehead is definitely reflecting some of that light into your camera.
Yeah.
I will say this is a good balanced panel of hues of color, from like really pasty to
that's right
to Indio Mexican. So,
pasty.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say who was pasty, but
we need to get Epic Mike or something on the channel to balance, get the others.
Oh, I know I'm on the whitest end of the spectrum here. I'm not dumb.
Well,
So-
it's kind of funny because at dinner last night we were like, "Wow, the three of us all work with Tom." It's like, he's
That's
the missing
right.
link. We wished you could have come out for dinner.
That was
out
so
here
much
in
fun.
Well, I didn't even know you guys were heading out there till like this week. So
We
nobody even
didn't
told me
know.
about it. Yeah.
Oh,
So
we didn't know, and it was a thing really fast where I'm like, Mike's in town. He just got back in town, and his kid left, so he's free. And I think Santana's performing. Let me call Santana. They're like, yeah, come on down, Mike, let's go. And here we are.
Yeah, Mikey sent me an email. He's like, "We might be out on Friday. You want to meet up?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Like, well, we might want to hang out with you if you're here.
Oh my God. That is, I meant,
Yeah.
I was trying to say heads up, might you be available? And I was trying, like, look, I'm still a fan of your channel. So I'm kind of like, hi, I am Mexican Ironman and I might be in Vegas. Might you be able to see me if there is
Oh
time?
boy.
Well, guys, speaking of fans of the channel, like we finally have our graphics up now that we're a month
Oh.
into
Oh,
2024 for the brand new top spots for our contributors.
You get so excited about graphics.
I get excited about our contributors,
Yeah,
about
they're-
acknowledging them because this is, like they're a big
Yes,
reason
yes,
why we do
graphic.
this. So let me just give a big shout out to Scotty Dub, who is
Nice.
our top Saturday superstar right now in the running. He donated $100 to
No.
live stream.
Nice.
So he is now our top contributor and our top super chatter for the moment. Now, William Forbes did accept his challenge, but he did it on the Tuesday show,
Mhm.
which is a different
Yeah, they're tied
tally.
actually,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually so Forbes dropped a hundo,
Mhm.
and then he went on to drop 5s and 10s the rest
All
of
day
the,
long.
all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah. So cumulatively, he's definitely up there. But for the Saturday show, Scotty Dub still reigns supreme.
Gotcha.
We also have acknowledge our most regular contributor, Mexican Ironman himself.
Woohoo!
Yep, you're up there once again for whenever we start a stream, you're on there. Although Joker Voice, he's going to get on there pretty soon too.
Woohoo!
And
I feel kind of bad. I'm like, should I give you guys some money right now?
No, I think the boys talked to me and they have other plans for you after this show.
Hey, baby, ¿qué pasó?
Sounds right.
and we also have some fantastic gifters of memberships. We got Jillian N, WG, and a few others out there who have contributed memberships throughout the course of January, and we're hoping to get more of those as we go
can't-
along.
The screen is so small. I need my glasses.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the old man.
Get some readers. I got my.
Gotta get what's going on here. I can't read.
Exactly. But
Major
our-
Chai Chai and Eric Wimberg up there. Okay, cool.
yeah,
Let me
and
get her.
Sam Schwinger, I believe.
Schwinger.
Swing. So our goal for this live stream
I'm trying
is,
not to make fun of people's last names. but no.
our
not
goal for
really.
this live stream
If you're-
are
I'm sorry. If your last name's Schwinger, you're getting the swing joke every single
every
time.
time. Swing.
Showing.
All right. So our goal for this live stream,
That's
guys, is
awesome.
10 new memberships. So
Whoa.
whether you want to sign up for yourself or gift memberships, we're trying to get 10 of those suckers throughout the
Matt.
course of these 2 hours.
We're already there.
What?
Okay, well, give me some time to get caught up. Okay.
Yeah, he's still got to do
I
his
know.
call. His,
I'm
right?
kind of pestering them a little bit.
Right.
Just
Vader,
you know.
this is Mr. Kadish.
No, to you, not to me.
Senor Kadish. Senor Kadish,
No, El Guapo. That's my name. El Guapo Kadish.
where can I put my bag?
Grand Pumbaa.
All right, guys. So we obviously have some super chats to get caught up with. So I want to
Yes.
give a big shout out to Dennis Wright, a regular on the show. He has decided to join the YouTube membership.
Nice.
Órale.
So welcome, sir. Welcome.
Okay.
We also have a member chat from Joker's Voice, who's been a member for 11 months.
Yep. Since the
Been a member
beginning.
for a while, yeah. Since we put our memberships up. So hail S&P, hail chat panel, the best non-YouTuber, aka Mikey.
Thank you for your support.
Mhm.
Your judgment is impeccable, sir.
Yes, and he joined us for dinner last night.
And
it was cool to hang
You
out
look
with him.
really good with that green light background behind you. It looks dope.
He's Mexican.
Of course, it looks
It's
good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joker's voice. Hail. It was really cool meeting him. Like a little mini meetup dinner. that we
I
had.
like you hanging out with Joker because he gets going and he has his stuttering thing, right?
Right.
Which he does. But if you just hit him on the back of the head when he gets going, it knocks him right out of it. It's really fun.
Well, speaking of knocking Joker upside the head, we got
Not like
a
assault, but okay.
$5.
then he pays you some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snap out of it.
Take it, get another.
It's like, okay,
$5.
I'm good.
Take it, get another. $5.
Yeah. So, Lord of the Rings creates right wingers, huh? Considering that the House of the Mouse creates, is that really a bad thing? Hashtag keep talking. Well, the House of the Mouse creates communists, don't you know?
Mhm.
That's right.
We were talking about Mikey's stock holdings in Disney last night at dinner.
I'm going to keep my comments about the Lord of the Rings.
How much you
until we get to
down?
there.
So far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kate
That's so good.
has tried everything and to like not laugh at my stock purchasing decisions, but
Yeah.
I could tell he was quite amused when he looked away. He's like,
Listen, if you want to laugh at him, just ask him how much he invested in like FNTs and stupid shit like
Oh,
that.
he told us.
They talked.
I didn't
They
invest
had
anything in
this whole
FNT,
Dogecoin.
Yeah.
EFTs.
EFTs, yeah.
Hey, I made money on Doge. It wasn't that bad.
I was singing to all the mariachi songs, and these guys were talking business. I'm like, you know.
If I pulled up my crypto wallet right now, it would have like $8 in it from
Yeah.
like 400 that I invested.
Yikes.
Well,
Yeah.
like my investments actually did pretty well until like the company that was holding them for me went bankrupt and stole all of my investments. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to take an L on that one. Just
Sounds about right.
pretty much. And we got gifted memberships from Lover of
Mm.
Green, 5 salty nerd
Nice.
pods. Thank you, Lover of Green. That is very, very upstanding of you. Appreciate that. And also Jillian N, one
Yeah.
of our regulars,
Hey.
gifted 5 Salty Nerd podcast membership, which brings her to the top gifted membership because overall she's gifted 10 memberships over the course of the last month. So
That's amazing.
good on you, Jillian. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Mexican Ironman for $9.99. I'm here in the studio. Thank you all.
Yes, I mean, everyone here is giving money except for me.
Oh, Vader's never given a
I
Yeah.
love
That's not
I love
true.
super
Yeah.
chatting myself
Wow.
on a live podcast that
Oh
I'm
my
actually
God.
in. This is amazing. I'm like so nerded out right now. I'm just hi.
Hi there.
They came in here and they're like, so are these the right microphones that everybody else uses in the podcasting world? Is this the right lights and all this kind of stuff? Yeah. He researched everything. This is the stuff, man.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the Salty Nerd podcast studio is open for business. So if
Yeah.
anyone ever
Yes.
wants to come in and record out here, they're more than welcome to because we are a very accommodating podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Group of people. In fact, when Gary's meetup comes out to Vegas in April, they're going to be using our studio for Friday Night Tights and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll be opening it up to them and pretty much any other YouTuber who's in town.
Make sure he
wants to use
pays you.
it.
So
No,
this has
we're-
been nothing
I'm
but an
gonna say right now
infomercial
that-
for your
I don't
studio.
know,
well, why not? We need money.
yeah. This
Yeah.
I would like to be able to quit my real job
Yeah.
and just hang out here all day long.
But
That'd be
don't-
fantastic.
Don't do the CinemaCon. Hey, we're free guys. Anyone wants to come in?
Yeah.
Listen, where's the camera? Páganos.
Your camera is right
We
there.
got to talk about CinemaCon, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll talk about CinemaCon once it gets closer to.
Well, we got to do it soon so we can plan if we're going to get out there.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would love to have you come out for this year, Tom. So
I'm
we need to
hoping
get
to
you.
get Andre out there too.
Yeah, we need to get you and the Popcast guys media passes so you can go out there. As
Yeah,
well.
I've been working on that. It's not that easy. Maybe at least not for easy for me. Maybe it's easy
Well, I think
for
if we can get the pass, Andre. will
Ram
try to
Humbach
make it
Kadish.
happen.
Yeah, if I can get the pass, I can 100% make it happen.
All right, guys. So enough of the housekeeping. Let's get into the actual stories today. And the one that we're starting off with is Disney loses to DeSantis. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but Disney was basically suing the state of Florida, saying that they were being punished unfairly for their political views. And a federal judge basically laughed at them and said, like, you guys are basically violating the Constitution with like these, sweetheart deals for corporations, and you don't have a leg to stand on. And so basically it got summarily dismissed in court, and DeSantis finally got a victory, after his failed president. And Disney is reeling from this. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised, Mikey, if Disney stock went down after this announcement. Do you have any insight into that?
It did go down partially right afterwards, not significantly, but partially. And I think what was telling to me here's what stood out for me. The judge in his ruling stated two things. One, that they didn't have standing which essentially means, why are you even bringing this lawsuit? This is completely irrelevant and lame. It would be like, for example, a crime is committed, or an issue happens between parties A and B, and party C steps forward to file a lawsuit saying, hey, well, I was damaged. So they didn't have standing at all. So the judge basically said, why are you even here? That's what it means when you have no standing. The second issue had to do with ruling on the merits of it, in which they said that even if you had standing, you would not be successful on the merits of this case. There probably was a pathway if Disney wasn't so arrogant and so just blind to how business works these days. There would have been a couple paths. One path could have been they could have immediately cut a deal with Florida, carved out another special tax district, and or when things started going south for them, they could have, back when there was still a Reedy Creek in existence, they probably could have maybe done some maneuvers there. I've covered this extensively on live streams with our buddy Andrew at Legal Mindset. Stock did dip, and I got to tell you, someone who owns as we talked about last night, a block of shares, which is not insignificant. It is shocking the amount of time and money that this company is investing in a lawsuit that goes nowhere when there is no shareholder value created. There's no way that repercussions are ever going to come back. And meanwhile, I mean, they're sitting here chasing windmills that don't exist anymore, never will exist anymore, and they're just burning cash. Lawsuits like this are not insignificant in cost. They're very significant. And they're significant in terms of time and attention. And it was infuriating to me that as soon as this came down, people like Deadline and other shill Disney media sites were quick to run with a story with Disney's response to saying that, hey, we're not giving up. We're going to keep pressing for this. And that tells you everything you need to know about a company that thinks that that parental rights are so insignificant in terms of programming of children that it's going to keep fighting keep fighting against parents in order for children to be able to see content that's incredibly inappropriate for them.
Yeah, and there was a third option that you kind of glossed over, and I want to throw this to Brian. Brian, they could have just shut their mouths and not injected themselves into politics in the first place.
Right.
And basically the thing that got them into hot water was like the Republican legislature and governor in Florida said, okay, you guys want to start throwing money and being political and prioritizing political causes. We're going to treat you politically, and we're going to remove all your sweetheart deals, and you guys can then you guys can go with impunity to fund any kind of cause that you want. So Brian, why do you think Disney decided to basically commit business suicide in Florida?
Because they thought they can win. So they succumbed to the will of the 23 people that complained out of the millions of employees they had. And they thought that they can bully the government of Florida, specifically DeSantis. And then they thought they can go after DeSantis straight up, his personal, not the actual office of the governor. And they failed on all counts because thankfully there's some judges left in our judicial system that are actually concerned with the law, right? And not trying to pander to whatever side of the aisle they happen to support. This is the last line of defense for a lot of these crazy people and businesses is the legal system. And hopefully we have a lot more, and I'm not saying Republican or conservative, but like judges and lawyers that really take the law seriously and they don't interpret it through whatever political filter they happen to, whatever political team they happen to play for. And as long as that's the case, I think we can probably stem a lot of the crazy nonsense.
There's nothing worse than politically activist judges.
Nothing worse. Yeah.
Nothing worse than that.
Because like that is the last line of defense. Like that is the last branch. That's the last group of people that are supposed to stand up for reason and logic. And reason and logic are quickly becoming something that is going to be left to the dictionary because even the words are changing in real time. And that goes for both sides. Like I see people on the GOP side, like Republicans and conservatives, that are legitimately, saying, this person, Mark Zuckerberg, should he go to jail for child grooming stuff on Facebook because there was some article that came out about that, and the entire comment section is like, yeah, put him in jail. I'm like, whoa, that's not how it works. Like, there's a system in place. Like, once we allow the government to take control over anything, they never give that power back. There needs to be checks and balances, and conservatives need to be the voice of reason, not the voice of emotion. There needs to be reason and logic, and that's why it's really hard for me to put an R next to my name. Even though I usually, agree with that side of the aisle, because they're the same people that back in the 90s find Howard Stern out of existence because they didn't like the naughty words he said. The same people that tried to get South Park taken off the air because they said fuck too many times. The same people that wrote letters to Congress, to add, when they had power, they abused it. And now we are seeing the abuse on the other side because the power that we gave the government, they never gave it back.
Oh man,
this is how it works every single time. So instead of giving them the government power, we need to.
Tipper Gore was GOP, but anyway, sorry, Brian.
Which part?
I said I didn't know Tipper Gore was GOP, but okay.
And what are you referring to?
Back in the 90s, when she was one of the people that led the charge against.
Oh yeah,
all that. Yeah.
I don't know about her. I'm talking about the thousands and thousands of Christian conservatives that wrote into the radio station and the FCC to find Howard Stern off the terrestrial.
Well, Howard Stern is a piece of shit anyway. So
whatever.
No, so
that's not the problem. The problem is
apology toward it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is he might be a piece of shit, but the problem is utilizing the government as a sword against people. That is a double-edged sword, and when eventually someone that you agree with or someone you don't agree with will be in power, and they will then utilize that exact power against you. So the government needs less power, not more power.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me hop in there, guys. Here at the table, I don't know if you know this, but Brian is auditioning to replace Rush Limbaugh as the voice of reason.
Oh God.
Mike, have you noticed that the Popcast guys are just diving into politics left and right?
Okay, so as someone as Brian knows, I have been a fan of their channel forever, and I gotta say, to watch, it's hard for me to decide, but I think Shane's meltdown has been far more entertaining than Brian.
More entertaining.
He gets more black pilled every week.
Shane, to watch Shane go from where he would literally almost scold Brian and on the live streams of the podcast live to now I'm just watching Shane love you guys.
Yeah.
All right, Paulie.
Not our fault. The world is changing so much. We can only do so much before we just lose it.
Indeed.
Get it.
Paulie, this is obviously a big blow against Disney. Where do you think they go from here?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, just as far as entertainment,
just in terms of are they going to continue to try to drag this through the legal system, or are they just going to take the L?
I really don't know. I'm not, just because I'm just not. I don't keep up with that on that end, and as far as Mike and Tom does. On the entertainment side, I have some ideas, but yeah, on the legal side.
Well, where are they going on the entertainment side then?
Well, it seems that they're going to take a risk on one of the new movies coming out this year. That'll try to get some fans back, some of the OG fans back. So,
which movie is that?
Do I dare say D3?
For those who don't understand code, that would be Deadpool.
Deadpool.
I feel like he's speaking Spanish. We're trying to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I thought he was talking about double penetration there for a minute.
Triple penetration.
I was like, Daredevil?
Yeah.
What movie is it?
Times 3, that'd be 6.
That'd be 6.
Or wait, 9.
60s, too much. Tom, what's your take on this? How do you think this affects Disney from both a business standpoint and entertainment standpoint?
Well, I think Mike covered most of it. I mean, as best as anybody can. But I mean, the basics are that they screwed themselves. Disney and Reedy Creek are supposed to be two separate entities, and they presented themselves as one and the same. And I mean, really, this judge did them a favor, probably. I mean, I don't know what kind of grounds you'd have to stand on to go wait a minute here, you're suing them over this? Well, you're not even the right people to be suing them. It should be Reedy Creek suing them, and they have no grounds to sue them on. So I'm trying to figure out this whole thing. Because like you said, Matt, basically you play politics ball, you get the result, right? Like, I don't know where Disney thought that this was a good idea to begin with, especially when you've got a company that, runs on both coasts. And as we've noticed that they've forgotten about Middle America all throughout the entire, run of this whole political movement or whatever you want to call it. And at this point, it's funny. Honestly, I think the court was kind of easy on them, to be honest with you. But because they did it without prejudice. So I don't know if Mike wants to explain that a little bit or not. But yeah.
All right, Matt Vader. I know you don't give a shit about.
Nope,
Disney.
don't give a shit.
What does this news tell you?
All I'm saying, all I see is I'm happy that DeSantis and his crew can get a win. I think Ron DeSantis is going to run for president again, and I think he'll have a much better shot in the future.
Like a win for states' rights.
Yeah, just
I'm totally down with
something
that.
he can put in the win column, because he's had a rough 6 months.
No, it was a terrible presidential run.
He never should have gotten the race.
He's got a lot of personality, presentation to work on.
And he lost a lot of his.
He was the man.
A lot of his momentum that he had going for 2028 maybe, and he needs to just go back. He needs to be a governor again,
right,
instead of a candidate, and he needs to assure the base that he is still the same guy that he was before all the nonsense came. And, so it's nice to see that him and his administration get a W here, and so he can maybe start funneling that energy back into the future instead of all the nonsense that's been going on for the last 6 months or so with this presidential campaign that was a nightmare. So I don't know.
As a guy outside looking in, I felt that way about DeSantis. This guy is doing different stuff. We're on triple lockdown over here during that time, and I see nothing but a lot of liberal people, whatever moving to Florida.
Yeah.
That was huge. I mean, it's still happening.
I really like Ron DeSantis. I mean, if I was moving, it would be Texas or Florida, like everybody else in our world. It would be really hard for me to decide which one of those.
Florida's not good for us big guys, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sweaty there, right?
Yeah, sweaty, real muggy.
Yeah, very muggy. Did you guys see that news story about, I believe it was on CBS, where they were interviewing their top law enforcement expert, and he was talking about how illegal immigrants, and I want to get your guys' take on this because it deals with that.
Oh, I'm ready for this topic.
Why would you want their...
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, it's a matter of time.
Get the razor wire up.
But I'm ready. Let's go.
They're shoplifting and getting away with it in New York City. Then they go down to Florida to spend the money that they stole, and then they go back to New York. And the news anchor was like, "Why don't they just stay in Florida and steal stuff?" And the law enforcement expert was like, "Because they go to jail in Florida. New York doesn't put anyone in jail." Mikey, Paulie, do you have any comments on that?
Paul goes first.
No, you go first.
No.
Oh my!
Well, you ignored the best part. The best part was the 10 seconds of silence that felt like an eternity after that because they didn't know where to go from there.
Oh, yeah. It was very awkward.
All right, I'll go first. Let her rip. What's your question?
Oh, it's like, what do you think about the idea that you can basically steal with impunity in New York, go down to Florida and party, and then come back to New York because you'd go to jail doing that stuff in Florida?
I think this country is going to hell in a handbasket. Yep. We need to seal this border. I know a guy who's not a YouTuber, who's a specialist and expert in Mexican affairs. His name is Mexican Ironman, and Mexican Ironman says there's enough Mexicans here already, and we don't need any more. No, I mean, look. I never thought, as someone who grew up on the left side of the aisle, I was knocking on doors and I was voting for encouraging Democrats to vote since I was age 12. I was doing fundraisers for kids in high school to do internships in the summer for State Senator Dan McCorkadale and did that for 30, 40 years. And so I'm only recently red-pilled in every way, shape, or form. This country is going to hell in a handbasket. It's very difficult to be the father of a 10-year-old to see what's happening. I don't like seeing videos of kids getting bullied. I don't like seeing crime running amok. I don't like feeling that cities are unsafe. I live in South Carolina where, look, if someone ever told me I was going to live in South Carolina, all the images of like, getting like, whatever that could happen out there. I've never been treated so nice and so polite and so warmly as I have in South Carolina. And my least pleasant experiences are visiting the biggest cities in this country, which I now try to avoid like the plague. It is sad to me, even when we open this podcast, that you mentioned that Vegas is crime ridden, because I remember Vegas when I was coming here all the time when Mexican Ironman was engaging in activities to which he should not have been doing as frequently. Let's just say Mexican Ironman attended way too many pool parties back in the day.
Those pool parties, man.
Yeah, and he wasn't always clean and sober in those days.
Wow.
But I remember Vegas being a place that you could walk around anywhere, anytime, anywhere, anytime, at any hour, and not have no problems. And people were generally like having a good time. Like for you to open this up and say that crime-ridden Vegas has happened, that's just shocking to me.
Well, the police have a term for was it break-in season? Like there's a period of like 3 months out here where the
it's a little warmer. It's not so cold and windy outside.
Criminals are just like breaking into places left and right.
I didn't know that.
Darker, longer outside.
And so
I'm nice.
And I'm gonna say this and I have total credibility to say this. I grew up as a hardcore leftist, liberal, super progressive. I make Paulie look like a hardcore conservative. I grew up super woke, super progressive, super leftist, hardcore. All right, and I'm gonna say this. Hashtag Team Democrat and hashtag Classical Liberal and hashtag Progressive are destroying this company either by overt actions or by being complacent and living in some kind of amnesia-filled, I'm a classical liberal and that means I'm okay today and I don't know what. No, these are your people. You're all on the Democrat side of the aisle. You take care of your own. I'll take care of the wacko Republicans that have conspiracy theories.
I think you and Brian need to start a Drinking Bros podcast.
I think
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go find Brian. Brian, I'm coming back to SoCal.
He's not a YouTuber.
No, I don't care. Let's start a podcast where we just drink for 3 hours and talk about politics.
Well, first we have to go by a church and make a studio out of it.
Well, I can relate.
Down road. Well, I'll just tell one more thing real quick. Is to say, what they say about politics and culture downstream, and it's heartbreaking to see what's happened with entertainment because the entertainment just reflects this train wreck. Nothing is fun to watch. And, I just found out from Paulie yesterday, and I told him we're going over our hot movies list, and Argyle's on my top 10 movies to see this month. And now I'm hearing that maybe I shouldn't see. Look, I don't know if it's going to be fun or not, but I'm just saying I consistently am bummed out by every time I turn around not knowing what movie's going to be good or not. And no, I'm not talking about Zack Snyder, Tom Connors.
Paulie, I know you're not a super political guy, and I apologize for bringing this topic up, but is there anything you want to say about it?
I actually am political. I just don't talk about it on my channel because I really practice what I preach when I talk about let's bring people together and this is probably the worst thing you can do is talk about politics and bringing people together. However, I think it's interesting that you guys asked us, hey, you guys are Mexican. Like, what do you think of this border stuff?
That was all him. That wasn't
right. I own that one.
But how about burritos? What's your favorite burrito filling?
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this in regards to Mikey's sentiments, right? And being Chicano and being Mexican American or being a U.S. Latino, seeing this, he's not alone in those sentiments.
No,
there's a lot of people like Mikey that are speaking out, that are being very loud, because that was the problem, is that they were silent. The parents, the families, etc., etc. And now you're seeing. We were talking about this from the Daily Cella to Brandon Lauren Maxwell, American Homeboy, the Chicano Hollywood. These guys are all heavily based. They're great people, but they're not silent. I mean, go ahead.
I was watching the Patrick Bet David podcast yesterday. And they're all immigrants on that show. They're legal. They came in legally.
Right.
And if you want to see people that are pissed off about what's going on and how these people are coming into this country the illegal way, watch that show.
Well,
because man,
I do.
They were heated, but it's wild.
So in so your question, right, and this whole situation goes really deep with me and Mike, right? I mean, Jesus, I went to school for theater arts and Chicano studies. I studied cultural anthropology. I studied the anthropology of the migration of a movement of people in the Southwest because I found it fascinating. What is our history? And the history is that people have always migrated from the South to work and go back. This is not old.
No.
But that's not what this is. This is something very different. I almost feel like I don't think frightening's the word, but there's something very evil behind what's going on.
Yeah,
I agree with you. And
hold on. Is there something very evil going on? And it almost seems staged.
Yeah.
Because listen, again, I've been around, you can't help but being around this subject, being a Mexican American in the Southwest. It's like, yeah, that's always been there.
Right.
But there's always seems to be something balanced about illegal immigration, right? As far as the workers and what they do and all that. It's been, like I said, it's been going on for decades. It's documented. There's great books. There's great teachers on all that stuff. This is different. I don't know what this is. I don't like it. I don't like seeing human beings being used, whether they're children or adults, for political favor.
It feels like an invasion, right? It feels almost militaristic to me with the stuff that they're at least exposing this to.
And I don't know why. And I don't know why one side is going all in on this, because it's really disrupting their.
It's like I don't see families and mothers with babies and stuff. I mean, those are there.
They're there. They're always there.
But what
and
I
they're
see
being used.
is I see thousands of military age men.
That's the difference. That's the problem.
I mean,
and that's what Paulie, I think, is referring to.
That's what I'm referring to, is the numbers. Is, and by doing this, right, that other side that's backing this up and that's making these states just laissez-faire or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? For like, where it's just like you said, you can commit a crime and it's cool.
Yeah, que sera, sera.
Progressive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
so with that being said, they have pissed off one of their oldest bases, U.S. citizens who happen to be African American, and that is coming to a head. And I find it fascinating. And that's really all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to give my, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we're a nerd show. I mean,
I'm like, I'm like, wow, this is
we love touching on very casual topics.
I got one last zinger for you. Another thing that really pisses me off is I don't know when white people became bad, because I am the man I am because I had 3 great mentors that picked me up. One was in high school. He saw something in me, and I was very smart, and he put me on a very good path. It happened again when I left Stanford, and it happened again later in life. A guy that helped me be an accountant. And if it wasn't for the kindness and generosity and openness for them, because I was something they'd probably never seen. I was raised by a single mom. I was from a crappy ass neighborhood in East San Jose. I certainly wasn't as well spoken as I am now. And at various points in my life, someone saw, out of the charity of their heart, decided to take time and effort and invested in me and help me make better decisions. And there's no way I ever would become who I am now.
So let me add to that, right? Because what we're talking about is this, it's in fashion to destroy white men.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
It really is. And my personal experience is that nothing but white men have helped out my family, have opened doors. We do that as well, right? Or I don't know what. But in my experience, been these wonderful men who happen to be Jewish or white, I don't know what. I don't
light
know.
skin.
Light skin, right.
Tom Connors is the whitest man we all know.
But seriously, it's in my life experience, I've seen that. And then going on a personal note, being sober for almost 9 years, all my sponsors, I mean the founders of my program, they all happen to be Caucasian. So what? Now I have a joke though in regards to Caucasians being the men being the black being the bad guys in films. Now I say welcome. We've been
Well,
filmed for decades.
well, and
But
if I can comment on it from the other,
Bad guy. So.
right. I'm just saying, but
right.
in the day to day, in the reality of life, we really gotta keep backing each other up as men. Where it doesn't matter where you're from, we all have stuff to share and to celebrate. And I don't even know what it's called. If it's conservative, I don't care. But I'm very triggered when people attack men. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think it's more common sense as opposed to right leaning or whatever. But I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Anderson, who's gifted 5 Salty Podcast memberships.
Mr. Anderson.
Now hit 15 for the show. Let's see if we can make it 20.
For every 5 memberships that we get gifted, should me and Paulie remove an article of clothing?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
All right.
It's a nice sweater.
We also have
you.
Dr. Kocho Dragon with a member chat for 6 months. Thank you so much, Dr. Dragon.
Thanks, Dragon.
Given everything we know about RC Pixie Dusters, we'll continue to move the goalpost. The fact is they're afraid to admit that Iger is the problem. I think not only is Iger the problem, I think the entire board of Disney is the problem because they just keep making like really bad decisions left and right. And so speaking of Disney, I want to talk about something that's a little bit related, which is Universal and how Universal... I don't know if they timed this announcement to coincide with the
he's excited
with the bad news, but Universal basically announced their new Epic Universe expansion in Universal Studios Florida, and basically this brings 5 new immersive worlds to the I guess theme park. We have the Epic Universe, which is kind of like their generic garden type of area. We have Super Mario or Super Nintendo World. Then we have an additional Harry Potter world. So it's different from the Harry Potter world that's already there. It has like 2 new kind of like settings that people can go and explore with. And but the big one that everyone's talking about is the Dark Universe. And what's interesting about the Dark Universe thing here is that so it was a failed spinoff that Universal was going to do. They made a movie called The Mummy starring Tom Cruise, directed by the guy behind the downfall of Star Trek, Alex Kurtzman. And basically, like, it was such a bad movie. It was one of Tom Cruise's few missteps when it comes to cinema that it actually killed the Dark Universe, expanded universe before it even began.
Right.
But this idea was still out there. They still have all these classic monster IPs in Universal. And they decided, they actually polled like their fan bases and said, like, what would you like to see in the theme park? And a big portion of those people were like, we want the monsters. So they have a spooky area called the Dark Universe that's going to be opening up in Orlando, in the Orlando theme park. And everyone's really excited about this. It seems like there was no excitement for the movie versions, but there's a lot of excitement for the theme park version.
The Dark Verse. So the Dark Universe has Mummy, Dracula, Werewolf, Frankenstein. Oh God.
Like all the old school,
I'm in.
all the old school monsters that, according to them, that they're revamping for the modern day. So it's a little bit of the old school, a little bit of new school.
Do we know in this store in this if it's gonna have or any connection to Del Toro's Frankenstein?
Maybe
that'd be dope.
Well, maybe
that'd be dope.
Maybe. I am so excited for this trailer video. I am so giddy like a little kid. I just this summer took my 10-year-old to Universal. We had a phenomenal time, which was compared and contrast to when in last February I took my niece and my sister to Disney. Of course, that was Anaheim, not Orlando. But I had a fantastic time. And when I saw this trailer release, I was mesmerized by how amazing and expansive it is. And 2 things struck out to me. One is that, look, it's huge. It's massive. They've got a great hotel, 500-room hotel that's going to be at ground zero. To me, that's a giant FU to the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel that Disney tried to put. It is a huge FU. They failed. They couldn't keep theirs open not but a year and a half over at Disney with their Galactic Star Cruiser and Star Wars. And here these guys are putting a 500-room hotel, not even a 100-room hotel, a 500-room hotel.
I bet they have TVs in the room too.
And comfortable beds that aren't cubicles.
Imagine that. And I'll bet there's even enough room for luggage.
Oh my God.
The second thing that stood out for me when I saw this is that we find a company here with Universal that actually loves their characters and their IPs because they're going to the monster catalog. Tom, I mean, I got to, as someone who loves monsters and Kong and other stuff, I mean, I got to say, I was absolutely excited to see them embrace everything from like the monster, the creature from the Black Lagoon, all the way forward.
Yeah.
And that this whole they're going to basically celebrate their catalog. Meanwhile, Disney we didn't get anything for the 100-year celebration. We didn't get any 4K releases. Tom, you've talked about this excessively. We didn't get any theatrical re-releases to celebrate. We got nothing. It's like Disney is a company that's running from its historical legacy, and Universal is about to spend billions of dollars to celebrate and embrace its legacy.
Really quick, their one hit, I'd say their best television Marvel thing was Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night.
That's Disney, right?
Yeah, and it's like they didn't even like. Does anyone know? Did you know about that show?
Oh yeah,
I did, but I didn't watch it.
I didn't really watch it either.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. In fact,
yeah.
they stole the Universal aesthetic for that show.
Correct. And I think they released it the following year as a black and white. But it's like that was your biggest hit. Yeah. It's like you capitalize.
Yeah,
that's just a connected thought I had right there.
For the first time, maybe ever, I'm actually want to plan a trip to Orlando. Just to go to check these parks out. I want to go like 2026. I want it to be open a year.
Yeah.
Let them shake things out a little bit.
Right.
But I definitely do want to go. I have no desire to go to Disney World, which is really weird coming out of my mouth because whoever would have thought at the time that there would be when somebody that grew up in the era that I did. So I don't care about Disney. I don't want to go. I'm going to go to Universal Studios instead. Tom, you were saying, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually want to throw this to Tom.
Yeah.
So Tom, it seems like Universal is emerging as the primary creative competitor to Disney in terms of family entertainment and now theme parks. Do you think that this is another kind of signal that Universal's throwing down the gauntlet and taking Disney to the woodshed?
Yes and no. I mean, they screwed up already with this thing. And really, frankly, at this point, they're on their last chance because other than the creature from the Black Lagoon, they're only a couple of years from most of their versions public domain. Because all these characters are already public domain aside from the creature from the Black Lagoon. And what makes Universal's unique is the same kind of thing with Disney. It's their versions, right? Like the version that we think of when we think of Frankenstein's monster, we think of Boris Karloff with the bolt sticking out of his neck and the flat head, right? Like that's not what he looks like in the book, but that's the way we think of the monster because of Universal. Same thing with Dracula and, Bela Lugosi's Dracula and so on and so forth. So in the next couple of years, those movies will be going into the public domain. So you can use those versions. So they really screwed up not getting the Dark Universe off the ground when they did, because that was their chance to really cash in one last time on their versions of these characters that they've been very litigious over in the past few years. No, as far as them putting in the park, it's like a no-brainer. They've always had the Universal monsters as part of the park. So, I mean, to me, I don't know if this is just leftovers from the plans they had before. I know I've been hearing some rumblings that they're going to try one last time to get this kind of thing together as a franchise IP kind of thing. So I don't know if this is the opening salvo or what this is, but if it's leftovers, sucks for us because we never got the movies, but at least we got the ride or the theme park attraction or whatever you want to call it. But as far as the movies go, yeah, hopefully they get something together soon. And to answer your question about the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein, that is not related to this. That is a Netflix film, as far as I know. So
right, I know it's a Netflix film and production, and there he's on location. Have you seen his posts? His Twitter posts are amazing because he's posting from every location that they're scouting, and it looks killer, man. It looks
That's
really
rad.
scary. But is that property Universal, Tom?
I don't think so. That's my point, is he's just doing his own version of it, which Frankenstein and a lot of these have been public domain for 30, 40 or more years in some cases.
Like a Zorro?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
They're making a new Harry Potter world to go into this thing too, right?
Yeah, it's like an extension where basically it's like the Paris version from Fantastic Beasts. and
Gotcha.
and some other version from like the main series. So it's kind of like an extension. So like they'll have their current Harry Potter world,
Mhm.
but then there'll be like more Harry Potter world in here.
Cool.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go buy a robe. I'm a Slytherin, man. Let's go.
I want to go to Universal real bad. I've never been there before.
All right, I want to throw this to Brian. Brian, how excited did this news make you?
I mean, excited in the sense where like, hey, we get one more shot at this. I always liked the idea of the dark universe. It wasn't executed very well, but I really wanted to see it. Like instead of every franchise being some kind of superhero thing, like the monster angle is really badass. And if you're able to take the same quality that we saw in Marvel Phase 1 and apply it to something that we've all liked since small children, man, it could be really rad. But I have a feeling they're gonna take this monster idea, the dark universe, and somehow they're the bad guy, the monsters are going to be like superheroes in their own right.
Kind of that's what they were already going to do. Yeah.
I wonder what kind of like big ride they're going to put in Monster World. What is this? It's strange. It's like, go ahead. Do I need to scoot up? Okay, go ahead, Mike. But
he got offended.
What kind of ride?
I'm fascinated at what kind of attractions they're going to put in these things. See, because you can put bars and shops and stuff with theme stuff and all these, but all these
What
different,
would the rides be?
Yeah, all these different lands. They have to have some kind of.
I want to see Dracula's castle, dude.
Yeah, for sure, Dracula's castle. But is it going to be like the haunted house where you just get in a pod and drive around?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Cool, right? Yeah.
But, for one ride, but you can't do that for all of them.
You can't do them all, yeah.
But
it's like, oh, Dracula. Ooh.
I think they're sitting on a gold mine, because every kid, his first, their first, I feel their first Halloween costume was Frankenstein. You put that Frankenstein, mask on. I remember I did. I mean, with the bolts hanging out. I for some reason I just think, man, this potentially could be.
Yeah, our generation, we were Dracula or Frankenstein, right?
I was gonna say Dracula. If you're a tall kid, maybe
I was a Dracula.
Frankenstein's monster, but
yeah, that's true. I think
Dracula's the easier of the two, though.
Yeah,
you just Tom, like you go back each year, you do one of them, and then like some of the really cool kids, especially if they had like a thick mane of hair, would do werewolf.
What I like about this Epic Universe thing is I feel like if they're making something for everybody. It's like, I don't really give a shit if I go to How to Train Your Dragon Land, but you know what I mean? That's just, I have no interest in that. But Universal Monsters, I absolutely
are you sure about How You Train Your Dragon? Because it's supposed to be like a Viking experience.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be cool, but that's not the hook that got me. That's the Universal Monsters things. Like, I'm intrigued. I think I'll check them all out. Don't get me wrong.
The thing that interests me most about this news is like how forward-thinking Universal is with their Nintendo IPs.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
Every kid, especially like when we were growing up, we all played Nintendo. And every kid nowadays loves Nintendo. Like they love the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, they do. They seriously do. And so like if we were ever to go to Orlando, like me, Jude, and our kid, like he would just spend all day in Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, my kid wants to go because of Harry Potter and Nintendo. Yeah.
But see, like really quick back in the chat, everyone's sounding off on their monster.
Yeah,
that's all. Those are all universal. Isn't that all these Universal?
It's like, are you a mummy guy? Are you
I like turtles
guy? Which one is it?
I mean, it's this because the potential is great.
And Disney is like going, oh my god, what are we gonna do?
Well,
their parks have been getting hit pretty hard, especially like off of them losing all their sweet.
Listen, there is a lot of people out in this world like me that's gonna go to Orlando. I'm not buying a Disney ticket. I'm not. I'm going to Universal Studios, and then I'm gonna go to MegaCon the same weekend. I'm gonna plan it all out. Then I'm gonna go hang out with Jay or somebody or Ryan. It's gonna make him hang out with me. So let's go. Let's just do it. And I can't wait. It's gonna be super fun.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You can come in.
Mike's all trying to sneak around.
Hello, is anyone there? See. Professional round here.
professional on this show. Come on, man. All right, guys. So we got some super chats to get to real quick.
Sweet.
Just get this going here. Okay, so we got the Joker's voice for $5. Universal building theme parks with Disney's money. Glorious. Hashtag keep talking. That's true. They are taking market share away from Disney, don't you think?
Well, more than that, they just got an $8 billion check from Comcast. For the Comcast, just Universal got that $8 billion check from Disney for the Hulu deal.
Mm-hmm.
So Joker's
Wait, say this again?
So it's part of the Hulu joint venture that Disney was in with Comcast. So they had to make a deal, and so Disney cut a check to Universal Comcast for $8 billion, which was announced in the last earnings call with Iger. He says, "Hey, we cut them a check." So they send Universal Comcast Universal $8 billion in cash at the end of December
to own Hulu outright.
Yeah,
and that actually
more cash to come. That's just the initial payment. There's more cash than that the Universal Comcast is going to get from Disney. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to build a theme park, I'd be like, let's go, baby.
Let's do it.
Just got an influx here.
Operations, man. It's like the way they like. I just can't keep up.
Billion here, billion there. I was like, I don't get
can't
it.
keep up, man. You know.
Yeah.
And we also have 5 more gifted Salty Nerd
Nice.
memberships from Mr. Anderson. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. You are now tied with Jillian in for the most gifted memberships.
Does that mean I lose the shirt or the sweater or both?
Oh,
Yeah, both.
Take the pants off.
No, don't do that.
I'm your private dancer.
Let's just cut to the end.
I feel we're really catering to a certain demographic in our.
Give the
Do you
people what
have
they
a,
want.
do you have a strong gay and lesbian presence in the?
Well, I mean,
Brian-
yeah.
So Mike is basically stripping for Brian. Is that?
Yeah,
That's right.
Our demographic is really high in the wed mothers for some reason this
Yeah.
morning. I don't get it.
At least one,
What?
Wow.
like in the real world, at least 1.5% of our audience is probably an alphabet person. for
Gotcha.
Brian.
Gotcha.
So,
And that's even less for Latinx.
right.
Wait,
So we
Mike's
got one
basically
hate
stripping
watcher?
for me. So
Wow, I never thought I'd hear Paulie say Latinx. That's
Latinx.
crazy.
He doesn't like that word at all.
I know
Yeah.
it doesn't.
You'll make him real mad real fast.
Smash!
Yeah. He'll get- yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
All right, guys. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the topic everyone's here to talk about, which is Pokimane.
What
So
the hell's
for
a Pokimane?
For those of you who don't know what a Pokimane is, so she is one of the most popular streamers on Twitch.tv. She is a somewhat attractive young girl who has leveraged her ability to woo men to give her their rent money in terms of tips and stuff like that.
Oh, lovely.
She's basically one of Twitch's biggest thoughts, up there with Amaranth, except she doesn't do anything sexual. She just kind of sits there and watches TV and eats on stream, and guys just throw money at her.
What?
Yeah.
She's very cute.
What?
Yeah, she's very cute, but she's been exclusive to Twitch for about a decade.
Yeah.
Ever since she started doing live streaming. And her popularity on live stream, basically she was the face of a lot of Twitch events.
Mhm.
She's leveraged that into a new like cookie franchise. So like she's selling cookies now. And she just has a very large fan base on Twitch. And recently she came out and she said, the manosphere is too active on Twitch. There's too many toxic males. I'm leaving Twitch to go.
That's
to go
why
and
she's
do
doing
stuff.
it.
That's what she says. That's why she says she's leaving. She says Twitch is regressing too much. However, this coincides with the fact that Twitch is no longer doing exclusive payout deals to streamers. And she was exclusive to Twitch on these deals for over a decade. And so now that Twitch is pulling back because they're like, we're not getting anything out of these like really big sweet deals with streamers. She's all of a sudden now going over to YouTube, and she's going to be branching out into multi-streaming and stuff like that, I believe. But basically, that's the long and short of it. And this is a big deal because she's going to be taking all of her simps with their money over to YouTube as opposed to being on Twitch.
And keeping 70% of it instead of 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's 50 over there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Way more money on YouTube.
Maybe different with her, but
yeah, I believe that she was on the tier where she could get
so many bad jokes.
She was getting 70?
Yeah.
Okay.
But ironically, Kick came out in addition to this and said, oh, we're now giving streamers like 95% of their subscriptions. So they're trying really hard to get the streamers that are leaving Twitch to come over to Kick. but Pokimane is now going to be like a hardcore YouTube like personality essentially. And so like this basically comes down to like, okay, how is the live stream landscape going to change now that you got a lot of big streamers who are constantly going over to YouTube, most famous of which was Dr. Disrespect, who famously got kicked off Twitch for mysterious reasons. And now he's like, you know, sitting at the top dog of YouTube gaming.
It's killing it over there.
Tim the Tapman's over there as well. Like, I believe Ninja, he's still on Twitch, but he's
Ninja's
like,
been going, like he does back and forth stuff now. Because
Yeah.
I know he was exclusive to Kick or something for a little bit, but I think he's, I'd have to go look it up, but I think he's all over.
yeah, but XQC left Twitch for Kick.
Mhm.
And so like there's this weird streaming competition that's going on. And now that all the big contracts are out the window, because YouTube says like, we're not paying streamers to stream on our service. Twitch is now saying that Kick is still doing that, but they may be slowing down as more and more people leave Twitch. But
it's amazing what competition will do, right?
yeah, but
Right.
Pokimane in particular is an interesting one because like she was pretty much the face of Twitch. She was like one of the people that Twitch would never ban or like, you know, like do anything for, because she brought in so much money. And so I wanted to throw this to Brian. Brian, how do you think Pokimane leaving Twitch is going to affect YouTube?
I think I wish that I would say that more viewerships, you know, mean more views, aka money and fans for us. But I think that probably the opposite. I think that Pokimane, whatever her name is, Pokimane,
Yeah.
Pokimane's Jesus. Pokimane's audience and other Twitch audiences are not the same as YouTube audiences, like that streaming mentality. When Dr. Disrespect came over here, it's not like all of a sudden we had extra fans. It's the same exact people that are watching over there that are watching over here. And if you're watching streams, that's what you're watching. You're not watching what we do. But if someone like Vader is like, hey, I'm trying to start my gaming channel, then we're about to get an influx of people that are used to watching that kind of content, then it might be good for people like that.
See, I don't mean to interrupt you, Brian, but I'm looking at her channel like right this very second. Because she just started streaming like this week, right? She already has 6.61 million subs on her.
What?
Yeah, 6.61 million subs on her channel. So you can see it right there, right?
Oh my God.
And she's live streaming right now, but and this is the weird part. She only has 2,500 people watching her live stream.
Well, that's concurrent viewers.
Right, going on where it says, you know, that are watching. You know, it just,
Well,
that seems like a really tiny small percentage, but I don't.
But so like she's someone who streams for like 6 to 8 hours a day,
Right.
Like she just lives on the stream. She sits there, she watches TV basically while she's eating lunch, and people are just like throwing tips at her, right?
What?
Left and right.
Yeah.
I mean that's what she does.
Yeah.
And like basically like guys just get on there and it's like, oh look, there's this cute girl. Maybe she'll address me in the chat.
Sit
like,
there and
whatever.
Mike's over there like, I had to go to school, start a business.
Dude, if you're kind of hot and you can like sit in front of a camera with some like lingerie on and eat French fries, you'll make $1 million.
All right, so let me get this straight.
If I was a woman, I would be a millionaire.
Main Mon, whatever this is, and okay, that's all she does. That's her content. No pop
She
culture.
plays video games. She plays video games.
So
and
she's a girl gamer.
Yeah.
She plays video games. She's not particularly good at them, but she plays kind of like cutesy girl games. You know, she did Among Us.
She does League of Legends and that kind of stuff. So.
But also
League player.
she does reaction content where she'll sit there and she'll watch stuff and react to it.
All right, there is a crisis in America, and and it's look, I already hit the microphone. There is a crisis in this country, and we already brought up the immigrant crisis. You know what the other big crisis there is in this country is the simp crisis in America.
Right.
And any dude that watches chicks on video and sends money, you are a simp, you are a beta ass biatch, and you need to go outside, you need to get a life, start dating. Enjoy the sun and the scenery, and get your fat get your fat beep off of the couch and out of that chair, and stop sending these chicks money, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, or wherever.
So, are you going to follow that advice?
Haven't I?
I don't know.
Haven't I?
Have you?
I don't send for chicks. I don't send chicks
Well,
money. I don't even watch this
Mike,
content.
Mike, the crazy thing about Pokimane is that she was able to create an army of simps without doing anything
So
sexual.
weird.
Like,
Yeah.
there are other thoughts on
This
Twitch.
is what happens when you let women be by themselves and raise
No.
beta ass bitch.
No, but yeah, Matt has a good point. She didn't do anything sexual for the Simps.
Hold on. So you have thoughts like Amaranth,
Okay.
who is a
Okay.
straight up porn star.
I'm not
Right?
talking about that.
No, but like she uses Twitch. She uses Twitch
Guys are
to
terrible.
do really sexual stuff to feed people into her OnlyFans. Now, Pokimane has gone on for a decade. Like she's never done anything sexual. She had like a nip slip one time, but like other than that, like she doesn't she doesn't do anything overtly sexual.
Yeah.
But she's somehow been able to grow an army of men who just like are
Is-
lusting after
Is she
her.
Because-
dressed
No.
scantily?
No, not at all.
not at
No,
all.
she's not.
I don't
Cute.
care.
She's very cute.
She's like girl
Listen,
next door
this
stuff.
This is the age we're in,
Yeah.
bro. That's an
I
example
don't
of that.
care if she's doing sexual stuff
Listen.
or not. I'm just simply saying that if while you're spending your day is sending money to a chick watching her video game and
Mike.
watching her eat and have lunch,
Mike,
your life is not
Listen,
complete as it could
listen,
be.
if
Listen,
I'm
but-
going to start a channel, right? Or I'm just going to turn my channel into a channel for women who are into chubby fat guys eating sandwiches. And if you want to, if you're a woman who's into chubby fat white guys who likes to eat sandwiches, then please come to Matt Bader 74 on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and I will eat and I will interact with you, and I will eat a sandwich.
Okay.
Peter, we can collab. We can collab together.
I'm
Okay,
into chubby because I've been sending you super chats for 2 years now, so I am way into that already.
All right, I'm gonna call someone out in the chat. Right, it's Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs,
Okay.
and then 6. Several times on their birthdays or special days in the last couple of years, they have paid me money during the live stream. I know this pisses you off to say, take your shirt off.
It's like, no, I don't. Nobody wants to see that.
$50 super chat. It's off.
Dude, Vader, you got your shirt off on Culture Casino's live stream for free.
I did,
there-
yeah, that was
whoa,
not
you
a
didn't
naked
make- you didn't make no money, dog.
I was on a naked stream. Yeah, but it was like.
I actually want to say that.
Have you
first.
seen Culture Casino's arms?
I actually want to announce that Paulie will take his shirt off right now if a $50 super chat comes
No,
in.
that's gotta be a direct PayPal to me, dog.
Well, so I want to throw this to Brian.
All right.
Brian, one of the big things about
Don't throw it
Pokimane
to me.
is like how vain she is. And there was like a big dust up last year where basically like a very popular YouTuber named It's a Gundam made a video
Ooh.
about her.
Yep.
And she copy struck his channel, like not just
Yeah.
like copyright strike, but like copy struck the whole channel for using footage of her that she didn't like. Because
Right.
like basically she was doing some really shady shit and It's a
Mhm.
Gundam called her out on it. And then like she went to YouTube and YouTube just like, threatened to take his channel down.
Yep.
And so there are a lot of people out there who are scared of Pokimane because she's not afraid to basically try to ruin their lives.
She'll put the smackdown on you.
Yeah. And her going all in on YouTube just makes that even more dangerous for anyone who is critical of her because like, her big cookie thing.
And she's going to get mad at us for even talking
Yeah,
about it.
probably. But Brian, what's your take on this? Do you think that Pokimane moving to YouTube is a good thing?
I think it's a good thing for her.
Yeah.
Right. I think YouTube has way more viewers and ad revenue than Twitch does, like hands down. Twitch's entire model is so odd to me because I get it's based on streaming games, Coca-Cola, right? But their archive function is still like 12 years behind everyone else's. Like Rumble has a better archive function than they do somehow. Twitch has a platform where they can easily be making money on the archived videos, but they've stuck to their guns on a model that doesn't really make any money, which is why Amazon's been bailing them out for so many years. Well, as far as Pokimane coming over here, well, okay, no exclusive deal means, yeah, she's not getting that money up front, but she's going to be able to grow her audience so much. Like she already has 6 million subs, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
There's
6.6
6
or
point-
something like that.
On YouTube. There's no
Yeah.
reason why that she already has the heat she needs to be successful forever. As
Yeah,
long
she
as
doesn't
she
need any more
continues to put up.
He doesn't need
What's
any more. You got enough.
I'll take a few.
Yeah.
And now that, and check this
Wait a
out,
minute.
now that her videos are going to be archived, there's going to be ads on it. She's going to make so much more
Wow.
money
Yep.
than on Twitch, where her archived videos do nothing. Of course, they're not there. where it's all based on her bits and her live views, right?
Mm.
Can she just send
Now-
us like 1% over of her people? Just
But
1%.
dude, now she's gonna do a 7-hour stream or whatever, then that's gonna be archived, and it's gonna be years where that's just making her
Yep.
evergreen, permanent, passive income. That's not something you had on Twitch. Like, for her, great move. Should have done it a long time ago. Twitch must have offered her so much bloody money to stay there, but
Well,
it's not. I don't think it's good for the rest of us.
is Twitch stopped offering her money, and that's one of the reasons why she decided to leave Twitch.
Yeah.
Because they ran out, bro. Like Amazon is footing the bill. Like that CEO came out the other day and was like, we got to make some changes. Amazon's been very gracious. Like, yeah, the changes you need to make is you need to get with the times. You're 15 years behind everyone else. Their model is essentially still Justin.tv with a better skin.
Right.
Like, dude, how can it possibly make money?
So I want to ask Tom Connors about this. So, like, obviously, Amazon is backing Twitch. They've owned Twitch for quite some time, but they're making changes because Twitch has never been profitable. They're making changes to the free Prime subs. It used to be if you were a member of Amazon Prime, you could give a free sub to a streamer, and they'd get basically like free money out of air, and it didn't cost you anything. They got rid of their TV app, so you can't watch Twitch on TV anymore, especially like the Amazon, whatever the streaming boxes for Amazon. And most recently, with all like the cutbacks, that austerity measures that these big media companies have been doing, basically they told Dan Clancy, who's the new CEO of Twitch, who's been very transparent. Like, I really like the guy a lot. But they basically told him, was like, look, you need to cut costs and start turning a profit. And so right now what's happening is like Twitch is just overflowing with ads, and it's ads that interrupt the viewer experience of watching a live stream, right? So like while an ad's playing for like a good minute or two, like you're missing out on gameplay that otherwise might be like super exciting. And so, but the thing that gets me, Tom, is that publicly what Pokimane said was that Twitch is regressing. There's too many people in the manosphere on there, too many toxic males who are red-pilled, and I don't like it anymore. And so I'm leaving for greener pastures. But I'm like, have you been on YouTube lately?
Yeah.
So Tom, what's your take on this?
What's a Pokimane?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Gosh, they kind of killed their own child before it had a chance to grow. I mean, if there was anything that could have possibly competed with YouTube, that might have been Twitch, especially with Amazon behind it. But as far as her excuses, it's just convenience. As far as her throwing Twitch under the bus, I mean, I think that just kind of shows that the writing's on the wall for Twitch, because I don't think that she would do that if there was any chance she thought of things going back to the way they were.
Right.
Again, I have very little knowledge of Twitch in this respect because I can barely run YouTube. But yeah, no, like even as of the last couple months to a year, I've noticed a steep decline in ad revenue while the ads have gone up and up and up, and the amount of ads on YouTube too.
And
And
it's complain about it from me too.
Yeah. But yet we're seeing a third of the revenue we used to see. It's strange. But no, as far as it disrupting the viewer experience, yeah, I'd be pissed at that too. Nobody likes ads, but I mean, I can put up with an ad or two in a YouTube video, but not a live stream, because that disrupts everything. And, especially if you're part of the stream. I mean, let's look at it like just the other night, I had Mr. Berger on, and on his channel, he does a lot of trivia streams. Imagine if you're trying to participate in a trivia stream and an ad pops up and then you miss a minute of the show. Well, he does contests with the audience to where, you get to be on the leaderboard, kind of like you guys do with the Super Chats business. Well, what if you miss out on that and you're in the lead, and then all of a sudden you lose your lead because you got stuck with an ad? Well, yeah, you're going to be pissed at Twitch. So yeah, and all that's going to do is, and look, as somebody who, if I had an ad on something, the last thing I'd want is the customer pissed, because then they're going to associate their anger with the ad, be like, I don't want to buy no more fucking Gatorade. They disrupted my show. Basically. So yeah, I mean, that's the best I can say on it. Otherwise, what's a Pokimane?
A Pokimane is a woman who knows how to suck money out of men.
Oh,
So
I
like all my exes.
Yes.
Yeah.
How
Your
many-
entire harem on your last calendar photo. That's
How many miles do I have to walk it to evolve it into its next stage? That's what I mean.
Oh, until it's a Me Too or whatever.
Yeah.
The next stage is Asmaranth, bro.
I love
Oh,
the
God.
Gringo Eats Subs
Are you
channel.
are you telling me Amaranth is a stage 4 Pokimane?
No, you do it full on OnlyFans model. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think
Okay.
you should run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can at least have revolving guests, Tom meeting.
Uh-huh.
But
Like a giant hero
they
sub.
gotta be crackers. So
No, it needs to be phallic shaped, bro. Like maybe a summer sausage.
No, you're too dark, Brian. You can't be.
Well, Paulie,
That's
so
chorizo.
Brian actually brought up a good point, which is that Twitch, even though like they're the leading platform to stream on, at least like
Mhm.
with games, but their IRL thing like dwarfs like their gaming audience. If Twitch were to just make it so that you could upload videos directly and clip videos to stand on their own and stuff like that you could then run ads on, they would actually be a legit competitor to YouTube. To
100%.
YouTube. Like forget about Rumble.
Yeah.
Like Twitch could easily like scale to the point where like they could compete with YouTube.
100%.
But for some reason, they just seem stuck in this thing. It's like we only do live streams. We're crappy at archiving this stuff.
Mhm.
We're crappy at people discovering new live streams and stuff like that. All the stuff that YouTube's good at, Twitch sucks at. But they have the potential to basically compete with YouTube if they wanted to. Why do you think? Like what's holding them back?
And he's throwing it back to me as I'm answering messages in the chat. My apologies, man.
It's all right.
Well, I'll jump in on this one.
Jump in, Mike.
I'll jump in on this one. I think I think God, there's so many reactions I have. Let me give you the first show right off the top of my head. I think that one of the problems that some of these companies have with YouTube is that they don't really. YouTube is such a behemoth, but they don't really. It's kind of almost what I'm going to call the Disney syndrome. It's almost like YouTube is king of the hill, but you got to go and attack that market share. And they could steal the people and build the infrastructure and go absolutely nuts and go and get some of that with the ads and with the archiving and all of that. But instead, they don't. They don't. It's almost like it's like anything in business. They're ceding that battle victory to YouTube and letting them sit on that as king of the hill. And Twitch, I got to tell you, if this is the kind of thing that's happening where someone comes over to YouTube and they're able to jump like Vader was showing me. I mean, Kadish, what is it? The
6.61 million.
Okay, so Kadish, when you see something like this with all the YouTube analytics that you do, to me, this is startling. I don't know if this is good for YouTube as a platform, if we're going to get a lot of this coming over, because one of the things that I've always loved about YouTube is to be able to have intelligence. One of the reasons I love this show is that you have thought-provoking, intelligent, analytical content about a variety of things. No, I mean serious. Okay,
It's a show.
Well,
Hey,
okay.
hey,
When
the
Kadish
co-host is like,
the only time this show went south is when Kadish is when Kadish let me and you run and he wasn't here. That's the only time it went south. Okay,
Yeah.
We're talking about Lord of the Rings, guys.
I mean, it would
No,
be,
but I
it
mean
would be
that.
talking about the difference between bologna and salami if you and me
Okay,
were
no,
in
but
charge.
getting back on point here, let me go back on point. I don't really think that this is a good thing for you. I don't know if this is maybe it's a good thing for YouTube financially, but as a consumer of YouTube content, I'm not excited about this because this will somehow probably make changes to my algorithm and the user experience for everybody out there, including people like me.
Well, I'd probably say that most of Pokimane's audience on Twitch were already on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
And so like when she came over, like they just probably just subbed to her, because if you look at it, like you have Asmongold, who was a big Twitch streamer, and now he's like super big on YouTube. Moist Critical was huge.
That's my favorite name ever.
Huge Twitch streamer. He's now
Moist
he's now
Critical.
one of the biggest YouTubers out there.
I'm
Like,
gonna change my name to Moist Vader.
No,
You know what? I think I have a reason why they haven't jumped on the archive thing.
right.
One of their biggest problems, I think they see as their biggest strength, like, so that their fan bases for these different games are very segregated. Where, like, let's say you have a fan base that are watching people play League of Legends, right? The League of Legends fan base does not cross over to the Dota 2 fan base. Like, you don't have the people that watch people play Dota 2 or watch Dota 2 tournaments the way I do. They're not going to watch someone play League of Legends. They don't give a shit. Same with, unless it's a casual game, most of these people, like if they're really big on a specific game, like they're not watching a lot of the other categories that have those other games, right? So I think they have like all these little individual fan bases, and I can totally see some executive over there saying, like we can uniquely advertise to a group of people that are specific and that don't cross over, and that has got to be more valuable for an advertiser than just general, and general audience. I think that's one reason why archiving for them, instead of adding to the cost to their servers, even though their big papa is Amazon, which owns all the servers, they can just continually push this narrative maybe they're pushing toward the narrative that if we get enough advertisers, then our very specific fan base for all these individual games, is worth more than the general fan base, or even the niche fan base that you find on YouTube that move around a lot. Like I've never seen a Dota 2 streamer cross over to League. Never seen a Call of Duty streamer cross over to Fortnite. These things don't happen, right? Well, the fan bases that watch these things generally stay within their few games that they watch too, which makes them more valuable because you have users that are watching hours and hours of content about the same exact thing.
So what kills me is that you would think that a no-brainer thing would be, let's integrate Amazon shopping with Twitch, so that like while people are watching live streams, if somebody has like a t-shirt or merchandise or something like that, just click on it, or like buy the game that they're playing or something like that. Just like super simple, one click, and like the streamer gets like a cut of like however many sales he drives through that stuff. It just seems like the people running Twitch and the people who are involved in Amazon on the Twitch side just have no idea what they're doing. Right. Like there's so many ways that you could monetize Twitch and integrate like new technology with them and stuff like that. So it is a little bit frustrating, but what isn't frustrating are member chats.
Yeah.
And we got March 5 months. And he says, got here just in time to see Mikey disrobing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Feeling nippy in Vegas, people.
Yes, we got plenty of simps for Mike in the chat.
Woo!
So
Just do a shot of me really quick.
Hey,
that face.
Yes.
All right. So Lover of Green for $10. Any chance of Clifton D on Salty Nerd? He's blacklisted for being anti-Fauci. Now New York plays are struggling because they refuse to go back to normal. If they drop the Fauci nonsense, sales would go up. Like Anthony Fauci is definitely someone who has ruined this country to an incredible degree.
Oh yeah,
and it's now coming out that a lot of the stuff he was telling people to do, like they just made it up.
They just made it up.
Yep.
Jesus.
I could go down a rabbit hole with that.
Well,
and
then when you post against it, like, hey guys, masks don't do anything. Everyone's like, Dr. Fauci said they do, and he's a doctor. You're like,
trust the science.
Trust the science. It's not science.
Yeah,
he said his name.
And demonetized.
He should not be named anyway. Paulie, what were you gonna say?
And who's we'll just skip it. But who's Clifton D?
He's a great YouTuber, former
We've
actor.
had him on before, yeah.
Yeah, theatrically true. Tom, go ahead, talk about him.
Oh no, basically, like you guys already kind of pointed out, he was a television and movie and stage actor who was ostracized for his political views, basically, and he just happens to be black.
Oh, he can't come on this stream then. It's
yeah, we're too white for that. Yeah, I mean,
well,
I think Mikey is about as far as we go here.
Beard.
But also, too, blacks and Mexicans just don't get along. So,
Oh, there's that too. Yeah.
Black.
Oh wait, you guys are legal, so it's fine, right? Like,
what the hell's wrong with us?
I might turn my camera off now.
that's what I learned from the beginning of the show, basically.
Sitting here going, bringing these two brownies is the worst idea I ever had in my life on the show.
Like, oh my
No,
God,
I'm heavily on the Mexican side.
I like brownies.
Only Mexicans on our live stream.
I like jalapenos.
Poder mexicano, cabrones.
Yeah, but Paulie serenaded me last night. So I can't deny that.
I did.
I cut video.
I got.
You with
I was
what?
singing.
I want to see that.
Yes, he did.
Man, that's amazing.
He was singing right to
That's an
me.
experience I want someday. All right.
It was very
But
romantic.
yeah, get Clifton D on. I mean,
I'm not a YouTuber, but I will be posting that video later.
All right, guys. We got another super chat from Dennis Wright for $4.99. Good to see you, Dennis. The obvious solution to the male simp problem is female AI robots coming sooner than anyone can imagine.
They already are here.
Very overweight, LOL.
True.
Yes,
It's very true.
Very true. And I feel like there was a little bit of a pun in there with coming sooner. So
No.
oh my.
Well, and as far as the overweightness, I think we got that pretty much covered on this panel.
Yeah, we
here,
got it covered.
Nero.
I covered that all by myself. We're good.
Hey, body positivity.
Yeah.
No,
That's what it's all
no,
about.
no, no, no.
Bodies
No.
are way overweight.
No.
The one thin guy on the stream.
Tom,
No.
What?
you know what?
I just flat out said that we are fat as fuck.
As a guy that, you know what?
Although
I'm not even going to start.
Next super chat.
Next super chat.
I do need
Let's
to
go.
say before we move on to the next super chat, Mike, I'm very proud of your weight loss.
Yeah, dude, you're looking good.
You look great.
Thanks, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. We have Lover of Green for another $10. At Mike, can you please say the following? MCU fan, you got to stop simping. Krista Nova ain't your girlfriend. Go touch grass. People in chat can send you at Simp City on the Geeks and Gamers Discord. Gracias.
Shoot, that's a lot. Okay, wait.
There we go.
See that. Hold on. All
There we
hold
go.
on, let me see that.
There we go.
Here we go. You ready? Here we go. For Lover of Green, Mike, can you see my MCU fan? You gotta stop simping. Krista Nova ain't your girlfriend, bro. Go touch grass. People in chat can send you at Simp City and. Okay, I'll redo that. Hold on.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I'm gonna put you full screen for it. So that
All right, I'm going full screen.
Yeah.
Let's
All right, let me
start
go full
again.
screen
Start
camera.
again. Start again. And
I'm ready.
Action.
I gotta see. You gotta bring up the super chat again.
okay.
Okay. All right. MCU fan, you gotta stop simping. Krista Nova ain't your girlfriend, bro. Go touch grass. People in chat can see you at Simp City on the G&G Discord. Bro.
Gracias.
Good job.
Gracias.
Bruh.
Shakespearean, Mike.
Well, thank you. Next time I'll do it in Spanish.
Epic.
El señor es que tú estás en el Simp, en la ciudad del Simp, en el Geeks and Gamers.
El
El
Geeks.
copyrighto.
Krista Nova.
La Crista.
I feel like I stepped into a telenovela all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Where's the subtitle button?
All right. So we got Toddzilla, who I got to meet last night for $5. Good seeing you, Toddzilla. What about
Toddzilla.
X as a video platform, at least in the future? I've heard some content creators have made some money. X promotes more freedom of speech. You know what's funny about X is that it's legit probably the best placed platform to compete with YouTube. If they get their video stuff figured out,
Right.
because they're already doing revenue sharing. Like people are making like tens of thousands of dollars off their tweets.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can translate that to video and make the mobile video experience comparable to the YouTube app on X, they could actually like steal a lot of market share from YouTube.
Yeah, they almost need to add.
Go ahead, Tom.
I just say they just need like a level like where you got like, you know, your favorites or your following or your for you or whatever. They need a spot in there just for live videos and videos that you can go through, like basically like TikTok or the way YouTube's kind of set up. Because that's the thing is I never know what's on there, like if somebody's live or anything like that. Sometimes it'll pop up to the right of my deal on here, but it doesn't do a good job of letting you know that somebody's streaming or what have you. But yeah.
I agree, but it does do a fantastic job of being stable. I can't tell you how many times I've been on Rumble on a mobile device and the damn thing gets stuck and I got to reload it. And you know, Rumble is incredibly frustrating. It's great if you want to see certain content that you can't get on YouTube if you're sitting on your butt in front of a desktop and you're just letting it run. But if you actually get mobile with Rumble and move around, it is consistently disconnecting and consistently off. And it is a very frustrating experience to use Rumble on a mobile device if you're actually mobile.
Well, I also think a big difference is that Elon Musk knows that, like, you know, video is the future and video is a great way to, you know, place ads on the platform. And so, like, I think that under his direction, like he's going to be doing a lot of the stuff on X that Twitch should be doing on their platform. And I think that he's actually going to kind of come out as a competitor for YouTube in the future. Like there does need to be a video only tab, almost like what they have on Facebook.
I'm probably going to start like simul streaming if I can on YouTube and X when I'm playing my games, because I'll play my games, you know, a couple nights a week.
Is this the sub channel?
This is just my own personal channel.
Oh, not where you're gonna be eating.
Oh, I can do that too. I'm making a sandwich video. I think Tuesday.
So are you gonna be disrobing?
No. No, absolutely. Nobody
think
wants
a lot-
that. Nobody wants that, man.
I'm just
No,
saying.
no, that's not true. There are people that 100%
Well,
want
Brian
it.
wants it.
Well, Brian,
Let me
Brian's
ask you
weird.
guys this: when did you guys start doing your simulcast on Twitter X?
So we actually stopped doing simulcasting just because like it wasn't worth it. Like nobody was watching.
no
on the other
benefit.
It's so
platforms, yeah.
funny because you were the first one remember I've been in those a couple times,
Mhm.
and now every channel is doing it.
Well,
Every channel.
now that so it used to be under old Twitter,
Right.
Mhm.
like you could only do up to 10 minutes of video, and it was
Mhm.
only 720p, right, in terms of like the resolution. Once Elon got in charge, he's like, okay, you can do up to 2 hours. It's 1080p,
Mhm.
and now you can make money based off
Yeah.
how many people see ads in the comments of that. And a lot of very popular podcasts have created their own Twitter accounts just to republish their shows. But you have to have the following, like otherwise it's just like it's almost like an archive type thing.
Mm.
But I do see X as being a player in the future in the video space, because I just think
There's something there.
Elon sees that there's something there.
Yep.
There's something there.
All right, guys. So speaking of something there, did you
Hmm.
all know that we've been radicalized by Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other
Oh, I was
very-
radicalized long before.
very,
that.
very clean fantasy novels?
Wait, what?
So according to this article here,
Hmm.
basically reading Lord of the Rings in 1984 could lead to right-wing extremism from a government report from the UK.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I read these books when I was a kid, and I turned into a bleeding heart leftist progressive
Oh.
Democrat.
Didn't you know Gandalf is a representative of Trump?
Yeah, he's Trump.
True. I was a kid when
You shall not pass.
I own multiple copies of 1984. I read all this stuff when I was a kid, and it turned me into a bleeding heart leftist progressive wacko liberal.
Well, this is true, but according to a government watchdog or think tank in the UK, what they're looking at is stuff that could lead to turn people into terrorists. And they've said that stuff by Aldous Huxley, who did Brave New World,
Great book.
C.S. Lewis, who did the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe
Yep.
series, J.R.R. Tolkien, all these classic fantasy novelists and dystopian science fiction novelists and stuff like that. Apparently, if you read any of this stuff, the UK is flagging you as a potential terrorist, right-wing extremist. And
That's scary.
and so like a lot of people are like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. Tons of people have read these books, and like not everyone's a right-wing extremist. So like, what do you guys think about this? I want to throw this to Brian because he's our new Rush Limbaugh on the show.
He's our most recent right-wing extremist, right?
Yeah. He's taken the red pill. He's now a right-wing extremist.
He actually listened to the rap song this week.
Yeah,
The
Ben Shapiro rap song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, what's your take on this report?
Hashtag facts.
Do you think that there's any truth to the fact that reading Lord of the Rings can turn you into a right-winger?
No, unless they're referring to right-wing people thinking things through logically and reasonably. I mean, that's the only thing I think. Like, oh yeah, Lord of the Rings is going to turn you a right-winger because people have honor. They're not concerned with feelings over their actual mission, their facts. Like the whole point, the reason why people love the Lord of the Rings and other amazing stories is the hero's journey. Someone who didn't have what it takes or didn't think they had what it takes to go and do what only they can do at that moment, to step up and sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And in the process, meet some bros along the way. That's right wing now. It's right wing to be logical and loyal and reasonable and to sacrifice yourself for the greater good. I mean, if that's right wing, then shit, I guess I'm right wing.
Well, Tom, one of the ironic things about this is that this government agency is warning about reading 1984, which is basically a book warning people about the very government agency that is warning people
Right.
about reading the book. How ass backward is Europe right now when it comes to like censorship?
Oh, this is completely bass backward. I mean, to me, I think Brian just nailed it on the head there. I mean, all I see is that these books could possibly turn you into somebody who's not a fucking degenerate, basically. That's all I can see out of this. Somebody who actually may, lean towards religion or Christianity, which in their mind is a problem, right? You got to remember what they see is problematic now, what this certain mindset thing. And I can't believe this because this goes off of what Mikey was saying earlier about how the left used to be the ones of open thinking and open minds, and now it's all about closing thought and segregating things and just believing the science, like we were just talking about here before, right? Like, it is insane that we have gotten to this place in this world. I would have never thought as a young adult or, you know, teenager that things would be like this. I thought by now we'd finally get to uncover who really killed JFK and aliens are real and all that kind of stuff, and laughing at some of the other goofy shit that we had dealt with in the last, you know, century. But no, instead we're making all the same mistakes, only worse, right? Only worse, because basically the problem with this is that I can see is that they're written by white males who might have Christian or conservative leanings. That's the problem, right? So basically what they're saying is diversity of thought is bad.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of ironic because, you know, Tolkien was a very outspoken environmentalist and, you know, stuff that you would consider to be left-leaning. But Mikey, you know, what the one thing that all these books that this think tank is warning about have in common is that the priority of the individual over the collective society or government, basically. Like, every one of these books is anti-authoritarian and pro-individual. And it seems like they're like, oh, if you believe in the sovereignty of the individual over the collective, you are a danger to society. What do you think about that?
I think it is shocking that we're bringing this up because we were having this conversation at 1 a.m. at the Mandalay Bay after the concert last night with some of the people we were hanging out with, and that is absolutely ludicrous to me that this is happening. And let's be even more blunt. I don't see, as someone who's along with Brian, a recent right-wing convert, I guess that as someone who's a danger, then I'm not the one taking paint and trying to, like, you know, throw out paint at the Mona Lisa. I'm not the one sitting in front of trucks in the middle of the highway trying to disrupt stuff. I'm not the one, you know, breaking in and destroying Walgreens and CVS's in the middle of the night with 20 of my masked buddies. So when we talk about terrorist extremism, it's not coming from this side of the aisle. I'll tell you that. It's not. We just want to be left alone. We want to raise our 10-year-olds, and we want to be great dads, great moms, and we want to be able to get along with each other without worry. What did Martin Luther King say? Didn't he once say that we don't want to be judged by the color of the skin, but the content of our character?
Amen.
And the content of the character that values the sovereign right of the individual, apparently is what is now the problem now. And that is shocking and disappointing and saddening to me.
Yeah. Paulie, you know, these books, a lot of them have been turned into movies. Does that mean that the people who watch these movies are also going to turn into, like, extreme far right white supremacists or something like that?
Yes. So go now to your detention camp and line up, folks. Yeah, man, these movies changed my life.
Yeah.
Excuse me, these books first. These books. I'm a huge Brave New World fan. I mean, I loved to read. I was telling you, there's certain books I go to sleep with, just as far as audio wise. Lord of the Rings, Dune, and the First Thrawn, Heir to the Empire. You know, this is a good example of this extreme part of whether you're Democrat or leftist. I don't know whatever the word is, the phrasing is the becoming a master of victimhood, of creating victims. You know, there's always it's always to the next thing, right? And these guys are so good at it. It's almost so convincing. You got to read between the lines, guys. You got to read between the lines. You know, in the way that I follow my sober programming, in regards to something that's a challenge for me that happens, we say it's either historical or hysterical, right? Most of the time, it's not hysterical. These guys create hysteria. This is wacko thinking. Now what we need to do is what we're doing here. And what you guys need to do is what we're doing. You gotta complain. You can't be silent. You gotta talk about this.
It feels to me like they're taking these classics and just comparing them and telling us everybody the same, that it's the same thing as reading Mein Kampf or something. It's crazy.
And they don't want
It's-
any of us organizing or
No.
fighting for individual rights. What about the recent bill? It's not really the right podcast for it.
Mhm.
That was proposed that would not only ban militias but ban training and weapons and tactical training.
Yeah.
Why does the government need to implement that?
Well, you know, kind of going along with this, Matt Vader, there was a story that just came out, you know, this past week about William Shatner going off on X about this new thing called presentism.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
And basically presentism is a movement in the EU where they're going back and changing language to meet more modern sensibilities. And so like the big thing that we had this week was they wanted to ban the "where no man has gone before" line from all classic Star Trek episodes and have them have Paramount change it to "where no one has gone before." And basically Shatner does what Shatner does best and just like went like scorched earth on X about like how stupid this stuff is. And so like he's coming out and he's speaking out against it. But
Good for him.
But the danger of presentism seems to go hand in hand with what we were just talking about, where it's basically like you have woke people in the modern day literally going back and rewriting history to make it more palatable to the people of the modern day who are like into this type of stuff. What do you think about Shatner's diatribe?
I think he's probably 100% spot on correct. You know, people have no business going back and trying to change classic works and things like that. I mean, it's just all these things are reflections of their time, whether people agree with them now or not doesn't matter. You know, I mean, who are these people? What gives them the right to go back and
They're
change
the lawmakers of
classics
the EU.
of literature and entertainment and stuff?
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
And
It's insane.
You know, Shatner even says it's like you have to look at this stuff within the context of its time.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there weren't black aristocrats like in Bridgerton, you know, in Victorian era England. You know, like you have to, you know, you can't rewrite history. Like you have to appreciate the time in which they were made. And we've seen some hilarious movies where sexism is just rampant, but that was how things were at the time.
I mean, I got no problem with people going back and learning real history and stuff because, you know, if you think about it, if you go back to when I was in school, they didn't teach us any history. They just taught us some points that they felt were convenient that we needed to learn. You know, Holocaust, Auschwitz, Vietnam War. Okay, graduate. There's a lot of stuff that you don't learn about.
Mhm.
You know, but that doesn't mean we have to go back and sugarcoat it and rewrite it to the way we think it should be written, not to offend people.
Yeah.
You know, people are shitty. We did a lot of shitty things, and rewriting history is never going to help.
But you know,
Well,
Paulie,
context is king, you know. I mean, let's be real. When I
Paulie-
said "where no man has gone before," I meant mankind, obviously. But they change the definition so much that nobody knows what they mean anymore. Priceline.com.
That's great.
So Paulie, this goes back to a point that you made earlier in the show, where basically like there is a war against men, and in particularly white men, that's going on right now. And it seems like this is in particular, like we all know that man is short for mankind, or at least human, you know. But the fact that it's man, that was targeted, and they're like, oh, we need more inclusive language. So like, what are your thoughts on presentism?
Yeah, I mean, it's 100%. It's attack on men. It's attack on white men. It's attack on white literature, Western literature. That even the examples of what Shatner gave right now, that is all European, you know, history, European literature.
Right.
They hate that. They want it destroyed. They want it out, obliterated. Why? Because it's much easier to go and destroy stuff than it is to create stuff.
Right.
Let's create new works, new classics, new literature, right? Oh, well, what is that? Well, I got to use my brain. I got to use my creativity. I got to collaborate with people. That's too much work, Paulie. I'm just going to go destroy all of Matt Vader's favorite things so I can feel better. Then what's the next thing to destroy?
You're going to ruin Darth Vader?
You said something interesting in regards to history, U.S. history. We're not taught it. Right?
No.
It's very little U.S. history too. My thing is, yeah, we need to learn more about U.S. history good and bad.
Mhm.
But I don't want to teach it to someone to make them feel like shit, to make them feel like their legacy because they're white, they're evil. So you should feel bad for that. That's bullshit. That really gets me. Because I can do this. I can do two things at the same time. I can love Western literature and I can love Mesoamerican, native history, native culture, all that. I could do it at the same time. And you know what? That's what we do. We all live together, man.
Yep.
This is just bonkers. They want us to be hating and going after each other. In the meantime, they're going to collect. They're going to collect. They're going to collect all that power. They're going to run everything. Yeah, get me started. They're going to run everything, control everything, and they're the thought police, and we're in the camps. We're all divided, guys. This is absolute garbage.
This is what I was going to say earlier when Mikey was on a roll, and I'm glad you brought it back up, because here's the thing. I'm sick and tired of paying for the shit that my great-great-great-great-grandfathers never did.
Right.
See, because they're not even. See, this is the thing that I've noticed in this country that is just stupid. It's like, why are we drudging up all this shit from the past that some of our ancestors didn't even play a part in? In fact, most of my ancestors were a part of it. Right. I got largely Irish. Right. We were treated like shit too. But you don't hear me going around, well, I think I need some reparations for that. No.
If
it's because it has nothing to do with me anymore. Sure, we should be aware of it, but I shouldn't be judged by anything that was done in the past, just like I wouldn't judge Paulie on anything that the Mexican government has done in the past. Why would I? It makes absolutely no damn sense. So why are white men all of a sudden paying for the sins of our great-great-great-great-grandfathers? Some of which weren't even our great-great-grandfathers.
Because, Tom, you guys, for the most part, have created Western civilization. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? It's just that there's more people at the table and more people, like, again, because it's easy to destroy. Right? And then you bring in fourth wave or fifth wave feminism. Well, brother, it's a lot.
But we got to be careful, though, because if we go back and we try to learn too much, we're going to find out things like LeVar Burton has a white great-great-grandfather.
Well, that's just it. I grew up with affirmative action.
Johnny Legs is a Spaniard.
I grew up through affirmative action, and they figured out that shit wasn't working back in the 90s. But here we are, repeating history all over again, right?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And as I've said before, the thing that bothers me most about this run is that they're targeting sports and entertainment the most, where sports and entertainment were always the most diverse first, where the best could rise to the top, no matter what the color of their skin or their heritage was. Because guess what? Baseball games don't give a shit about what color your skin is, right? A song doesn't give a shit about what color your skin is. And most time the audience didn't give a shit about the color of the skin of the person singing that song either.
That's what I'm talking about learning history. It's much more layered than what Tom said. Yes and no, right? Because baseball was a very controlled racist organization for decades until it wasn't. And then once it became an equal playing field, you got to perform to stay in the game. Yeah. So he's absolutely
it's the same
right
with everything. Yeah.
But see, that's why history needs to be taught. We can learn all that stuff and move on.
Well, guys, speaking of having to stay in the game, we got another story that I want to hit up real quick before we wrap things up. I'm going to throw this to Vader and Brian. But it looks like Jesus. Hasbro is going bankrupt, and they're thinking about selling Dungeons and Dragons to China, of all places.
Oh, God, please no.
Also, Tencent.
No.
Is it because they know a thing or two about dragons, or?
It might be.
No, I think it's because China knows a thing or two about dungeons.
Tencent.
Where's Alan when you need him?
Yeah, Tencent is one of the biggest video game companies in China. And after the success of Baldur's Gate 3, the Dungeons and Dragons video game property is very hot right now. And so I find it odd that like Hasbro, after like a year where Barbie just like made $1 billion,
right,
is in a financial crisis, but they're seriously considering selling off the Dungeons and Dragons franchise to a Chinese company who can afford to basically buy it. So, Vader, I know that you're a big Dungeons and Dragons fan. Can you tell me what your thoughts are on this?
That's the whole thing, though. I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since like 1992.
Don't lie.
No, I really haven't.
Played last night.
No, I just find it unfortunate because Dungeons and Dragons is in such a weird place. You know, they're going through the whole. They're ran by one of the wokest companies
Really?
in the world.
Oof.
It's you know they're going through. They went through this whole thing where they like changed the way people play and the aesthetic. You know, orcs aren't allowed or something.
Yeah, orcs are
anymore.
racist.
Orcs are racist. Yeah, you know, just stupid shit with the choices that have been made with Dungeons and Dragons. So that's why I haven't played. You know, everybody's into playing like weird tiefling characters and stuff like that. So I just don't get the game anymore. I don't have any interest in it. But again, I do find it unfortunate that such a great company is being dangled in front of a Chinese company. You know, because I don't want these things to be owned by foreign companies. I just don't. You know, Dungeons and Dragons was created by Gary Gygax. It's a very American, very cool thing that I just hate to see get gobbled up by some big giant
Foreign
corporation machine. And it sucks, you know, because it just is what it is. I hope it doesn't go through. I hope that's just a clickbait story, but I doubt it is. 10 cents seems like they're getting into everything, you know. So
well, I want to throw this to Brian. Brian, what's your take on this? First of all, do you think there's any truth to this rumor? And second of all, if there is truth to it, how could this affect Dungeons and Dragons going forward?
Well, I think that I'm echoing for some reason. Okay.
No,
I think that the truth is there is truth to the rumor that they're shopping it around, but I don't think that they're actually necessarily going to be selling it to China. I think this is a strategy to get the most amount of money from an American company that wants to make games and movies and TV shows, et cetera, right? Because we've seen this before where they're like, oh, we're going to sell it to China. China is often used as like the opening salvo to get an American company to come to the table. Now, if they do sell it, that's probably a good idea because they've been weird about the IP for a long time. If you're a D&D fan, they've been weird about it, about, you know, who can make D&D stuff in the past. And I think that if let's say Universal buys it for whatever reason, right? Then, you know, we're pretty much guaranteed D&D content. And I play D&D. I love D&D. I play Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is outstanding. If you're a D&D player, Baldur's Gate is the closest thing you have to a legit like video game where you and your buddies go on a campaign and you roll dice. It's the same concept, but the game is the DM, you know? And it's really, really, that game is really great in the way it uses almost like the Divinity 2 style gameplay, the turn-based stuff, but it incorporates a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, like literally the dice, like the exact same dice. You roll a critical 20 and you're guaranteed that action. Every single thing you do when you attack, every movement you make, every spell you cast, even when you can't see it, there's a dice being rolled in the background, and that's going to determine whether or not you're successful. It's basically D&D the game. So it would be outstanding if they actually gave it to a company willing to make good content with it. Absolutely. But I don't think that China is actually going to, the China thing is real. I think that it's just a strategy to get another player to the table.
I think that might be pretty accurate. I hope it is.
Oh, we can all hope.
Yeah.
We should learn not to hope by now. All right, guys. So we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it. I want to thank my fantastic panel of nerds, Paulie and Mike, for being in the studio with us today.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And I know that
You asked me about the Pokimane thing, but you didn't ask me about the Hasbro thing. Jeez.
Oh,
Tom, we'll revisit it next week, but we got a heart out over here. But Matt Vader, I hope you start feeling better. I know that you were having a rough morning out here.
It's all good, brother.
Brian from the Popcast, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Well, no final thoughts other than thank you, Paulie, and thank you, Mike, for coming.
Thanks,
It's always nice to see you guys. If you guys make it out this way again, we should hook up and grab some lunch.
For sure.
And you can also find me at, remember, I have two channels, the Popcast and Popcats Unleashed, but now it's called Pop Culture Unleashed. We are attempting to, rebrand that channel, and you can find it at the Popcast Live. And we've been putting out 2 or 3 clips a day, and we're actually starting to see growth on that channel again, which is nice.
Nice.
It doesn't help that I lose my mind like every couple hours about something political. That might have something to do with it. I'm hoping that's not. So when my current mental illness eases up and I go back to talking about Star Trek, no one leaves. That's the
That'll
plan.
happen on November 4th, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Once the election's over, I may ease back into a normal nerd town, and then all the people watching, I'd be like, "What happened? What's going on?"
Like we're good for a couple of years. Let's go.
Yeah. So go check it out, you guys.
Sorry.
All right. And Tom Connors Jr., do you have any final thoughts, particularly if you want to talk about Hasbro?
Nah, it's
where
fine.
can people find more about
You guys got to get running, but if you can share that link that I just shared in the private chat, I might do some Mead Radio. I'm feeling kind of cute. There you go.
You are kind of cute.
Feeling cute, might get leave later.
He's really not.
Yeah, yes.
All right.
It's not.
Paulie from the Latino Slant, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Final thoughts. This was an absolute blast. It's great to talk with a lot of like-minded, cool people, and to disagree a little bit as well. But thelatinoslant.com. thelatinoslant.com. We have now articles, we have reviews, we have contributors, as well as our website, as well as our YouTube page. But one thing that I've done is I've put my money where my mouth is. I wrote a novella, everybody. And you can check that out on the latinoslant.com. It is a urban fantasy sci-fi thriller that I wrote in only 38 pages. Very cool. I'm very excited about this.
Nice.
It's an original story and one of many more. So I'm giving these away. I'm not giving these out. I'm giving these as special gifts to Vader and to Kadish,
cool.
and signed and all that good stuff. So thelatinoslant.com.
Yes, I got mine last night.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, your website's in English, correct?
Yes, that is good to know. Yeah, it's to be clear, the website and the Latino Slant is mainly in English, correct? 95% if you don't, take out the bad words.
Good stuff. Muy caliente.
Vale.
Mike,
Yeah.
the most famous non-YouTuber of them all. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
You can find me. I'm not sure where on any given day or time, but around YouTube. Though I'm not a YouTuber, it's really great experience to do a live stream that's live. It's so weird and different.
Isn't it?
It is
Yeah.
so different and
Yeah.
weird. I've been completely disoriented since the first minute. But
You did great.
I want to thank everyone in the live chat for joining us, and those watching on the replay. I want to thank our hosts for having us. This is fantastic. Mr. Kadish, as he should be known.
We brought the
as-
Mexican colors out. Just
As
for you.
I feel very and thanks, and Vader's great meeting you in person, and
Yeah, man.
thank you both for everything that you do, and it's been a great pleasure to be here.
Good stuff. All right, Matt Vader, what do we
Yeah.
got going on this week?
I don't know. What do we? I never know what's going on this week. I haven't done my homework yet, so I don't know.
I thought that was your shtick, but it's like I really believe it now.
Yeah, I got an email from Alex last night. I have not read through the whole thing yet.
Yeah.
I think we're talking some Madam Web stuff. And
Well, when
things
is our
coming up.
next live stream?
Tuesday.
There you go.
at-
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yes, I got it. Tuesday at 1:00. If we're gonna go for 2 hours, then we got an hour-long membership stream right after that.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
are permanently changing the time that the Tuesday stream starts to 1:00. It used to be 2:00 Pacific, but now it's going to be 1.
Yep.
And that's just so that we're not stepping on anyone else's live stream, which would be good. And on Tuesday's stream, we're going to be talking about the top 5 movies to watch with your significant other over
Ooh.
Valentine's Day.
Get romantico.
Yes,
Mexican Iron Man will be watching that because he needs tips for this Valentine's Day. Ladies in the chat, Mexican Iron Man currently has not selected his Valentine for this year. So
Famous. I thought I was your Valentine, Mike.
no, you will be tonight.
Oh, let me give a quick shout out. Speaking of shout out to my Valentine, Romy. So yeah, Romy, great actor. She's been, she just did a film, and she just did SWAT, the TV show. So just a shout out to her for letting me do all this. And the Slantinos, Fletcher Williams and crew. So thank you.
Let
Thank you.
me just really say really quick. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the thumbs up button
Yes.
for us. Hit the sub button for us, and follow us all on all the socials. You know, at MattVader74, at Matthew_Kadish.
No
underscore. Okay, and Salty1138. That's Alex's Twitch over there. So or Twitter.
And we want to give a big shout out to everyone who gave us super chats throughout the course of the show. The Joker's Voice, Mexican Ironman, Lover of Green, Dennis Wright, and Toddzilla. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And we also want to give a big shout out, huge shout out to all those who gifted memberships. So first of all, Dennis Wright, thank you for signing up and becoming a member. For those of you who don't know, there's a playlist on our channel that has just members content. So the minute that you sign up to become a member, go check that out. We have a lot of videos over there. We're going to be doing more videos in the future. And plus, the third hour of every Tuesday is the members live stream. So you can catch that as well. Lover of Green, thank you for gifting 5 Salty Nerd podcast memberships. Jillian N, of course, thank you for gifting those memberships. Mr. Anderson, thank you for gifting all those memberships today. Really appreciate the support that you give the community. So all of you who got those gifted memberships, feel free to come and check out everything that you get on the channel. Other than that, guys, I want to thank my fantastic panel of nerds one more time for being here today. It's a blast having these guys in the studio and getting to sit across from them and look them in the eye. And
I like doing Saturdays from in here.
Yeah,
it's nice.
You usually don't, right?
Yeah, we're usually at home in our home studio.
Yeah, it feels so special.
Yeah, it's fun and it's a little bit different. But until next time, guys, tune in on next Saturday, same salty time, same salty channel. And as always, stay salty, my friends.
And then